Everyone, so for today's video, I am going to be reviewing the Happy Skin Air Touch Sponge, and I actually hauled this in my mini makeup haul. If you guys watched that, it's this one. I bought this one from Beauty Bar for 499 pesos, and the reason why I bought this is because it looks like this. This really reminds me of the Real Techniques complexion sponge because of the shape, but this one is relatively different because it has a curve, and the butt of the sponge is not a teardrop like this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this one has like a tip. This one is just really round. I really love this sponge. This is my first Real Techniques complexion sponge, but I am gonna have to toss this one away because it's been with me for 4 months now. If you're the type to keep your sponge for a whole entire year, I don't suggest that you do that since it's unsanitary. Molds can build up in it, and some people even found bugs in their beauty blenders. So yeah, always change your sponge. I decided not to do a first impressions review with this sponge because sometimes it takes a little getting used to, especially if you're used to using a particular sponge. I've been testing this product out for about 4 days now, and I can say that I kind of, got the hang of using this product. So yeah, that's the reason why it's a bit dirty. Like, you can see some stains here and in the butt part because I like to directly apply my foundation on the sponge. That way I don't have to use my hands. This product actually comes in this transparent packaging. You know how the beauty blender has its own packaging wherein you can leave your sponge there to dry? This one is actually the same thing. It claims that you're supposed to leave your sponge on top of it like this to dry, and then that way it's just gonna go back inside when it's dry. But I haven't been doing that. I just let it dry on a towel. Let's just go ahead and read what it says in the back. It says that it's a super soft 3-way makeup blending tool designed to cradle the contours of the face, creating an airbrushed, flawless finish with any foundation. Use it wet or dry to get ultra smooth coverage in a flash with your favorite complexion products, primers, foundation, cream blushes, and powders. So I believe that this curve over here is what the product is saying, that it's supposed to cradle the contours of the face over here, because it does fit perfectly. It also says here in the back that this makeup blending sponge was designed with the ideal density so it minimizes product absorption and waste, and skin still properly soaks in the skin caring benefits of your foundation. Now, I did notice that every time I wet this in the sink and I squeeze it out, you can really see the product squeezing out. Wait, I don't know if you guys can see it. There. I don't know if you guys saw that. There. Did you guys see that? It like soaks up the entire water there. There. So yeah, this product really doesn't soak up much of your foundation. I also noticed that sometimes when I apply my foundation, what I do is I press it a bit more, and some of the foundation that it absorbed comes out, and apply it on my face. That's a really good technology that they thought of for this sponge, because most people don't really like to use sponges because it absorbs more product as compared to using a brush. But this one, it still does absorb product, but it doesn't completely absorb the product, if you guys get what I mean. So inside of the packaging comes this mini leaflet. It has like the instructions and actually basically what it says in the packaging, except a more detailed instructions on how to use the product. I won't be reading the entire instructions because it's going to be too long, and I know you guys already know how a sponge works. Basically, it's saying that this one is for your under eye area. This one is for hard to reach areas like your eyelids and the sides of your nose. But I personally like to use my under eye area for this because this is too big and harder to control, but that's just in my opinion. And this one over here is to blend out your face. It says here, use the large rounded side to get ultra smooth, even coverage in a flash. Then it says here also, cleanse after each use to maintain the integrity and prolong the life of the sponge. Rest on top of the cylinder case. It returns to original size when it air dries. Now, this sponge takes forever to dry because I tried to air dry it for a whole entire day, like 24 hours, and it was still wet. So if you guys want to see its original size, just go to my mini makeup haul video, and I actually showed this there. So that one wasn't damp. This one is already damp. Those are pretty much all the product claims, and now I'm just gonna wear my headband because I have a lot of baby hairs. And I know this headband is annoying, but it's cute, so don't judge. I'm gonna demo to you guys how I use this foundation. I'm in the center. I'm going to demo to you guys how I use this sponge because I know you guys want to see how it blends or how to use this, since there are 2 flat sides and it does look a bit intimidating compared to a egg-shaped sponge, but it's a really good shape. Like, they really thought of it. The only thing that I don't like is the round bottom. because I'll show you guys. So I've already primed my face and I've already done my eyebrows and my eyes. I'm not wearing any mascara because after this I'm gonna go to sleep. I was also in the mood to practice my eyeshadow, which is why I have eyeshadow on, and these are all Makeup Geek eyeshadows and I love those eyeshadows so much. I'm getting a bit off topic now. For foundation, I'm going to be using my Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and for those of you who have been asking, I am the shade Natural Beige. Natural Beige is a shade darker than my skin tone. Sometimes I think it's like a shade and a half or 2 shades darker than my skin tone, but I prefer my foundation to be a shade darker than a shade lighter because it's harder to correct a lighter foundation. But that's just my opinion, because sometimes when I try to fix it up with bronzer, it just makes my face look really muddy. Now if I have a darker foundation, I can fix it up with concealer, and I can also set it with a lighter powder, and most of my powders have a lighter shade. This one is already damp, by the way, so what I like to do is apply the foundation directly on the sponge. Just gonna put 1 pump. Again, I used this side, the not curved side. I'm just gonna apply that all over my face. I think it's a bit too dark. I'm gonna brighten it up. There. There's that better. Let me bring you guys in a bit closer. Again, sorry, I don't have the best skin in the world. So the butt area of the sponge isn't that big, and I'm gonna show you guys how much it blends out. Not that much area, and you have to keep bouncing it for it to really blend. And it feels like you're kind of, you know, hitting yourself because it's a bit dense in the butt area, probably because the tension is, you know, I don't know, I'm not a scientist. It's not blending my foundation that fast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the curved side of this sponge, and it's so much faster to blend your foundation using that side as compared to the butt. The foundation actually already kind of dried down on my face, but we're gonna force it to work. Foundation just dried down, which is why it's hard to blend, but the sponge is really good. I really like this sponge. I'm not that satisfied. I'm gonna add another layer just because, but just half a pump, because I am just gonna remove this one afterwards anyway, but I want to take photos after this also. So I'm just gonna add in areas where I need more coverage. Which is everywhere. If you do buy the sponge, I suggest you experiment it, because you'll never know, maybe the round part of the sponge suits you better, or the shorter flat side as compared to the curved one. Maybe you'd want that one better, but again, I like to use the curved one since it takes a larger surface area of my face. Next is concealer. I'm just gonna take my LA Girl Pro Conceal Concealer in the shade Yellow Corrector. Now I'm gonna show you how I use the sponge to blend out my concealer. Some people have been asking me why is my concealer so yellow, but I don't know, I just like how it brightens up my under eye area. I'm probably breaking a lot of makeup rules for using a yellow corrector, you know, as a highlighter, but there are no rules to makeup, right? So yeah, just do whatever you want. I almost forgot. I'm using the shorter flat side to blend out my concealer because I feel like that this side fits my under eye area perfectly, as you guys can see. Now I'm using the round side to blend out my forehead area. You know what, guys? Just use the sponge however way you are comfortable with it. Don't think about how you use the sponge too much, because again, there are no rules to makeup. People often tend to forget that there are no rules to makeup, which is why they like to criticize other people on how they apply makeup, which is super wrong for me, because come on, if she loves to put on makeup, then just don't mind her. So I've been seeing, like, not in this channel, but in other channels, they bash like other people, and I don't think that's really nice. I mean, come on. We're all just doing this for fun and for the love of makeup. I haven't really came across a negative comment in my YouTube channel, but in other videos that I've watched, some people are really mean. People are just doing what they love. And if somebody tells you that your lipstick is too bright, just don't mind them. Then once that's all blended in, I'm just going to set that with my Nichido Final Powder. I use the shorter side again. make sure that your foundation is blend before you set it. I just use the same sponge sometimes because I get lazy. I clean the sponge anyway after I use it. Ta-da! So that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna finish the rest of my face off camera. BRB. Okay, so now I'm back with my full face makeup on. And it looks really good. Like, I didn't fully appreciate how it looks on my face till today, because usually when I use that sponge, I'm in a hurry because I have to go to school. And it looks really good. The only problem that I have is the dots on my under eye circles, but that's my concealer's fault. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like, they're small shiny dots, but those are from my concealer. Hele girl ah. So I'm pretty sure that the dots over here is from the dried product in the brush tip, which is why I always wipe it in a tissue, but it's not working. So I think it's time to buy a new one. I love this concealer. It's my favorite. So overall, I love this sponge. I would definitely buy it. Again, I suggest that you use the curved side, to use it, you know, to stamp on the product on your face, because it takes up a larger area as compared to the butt. The bottom part of the sponge is too long, so I'll just call it the butt. I don't want to stamp it on my face. Oh, I forgot to put on highlighter. I'm definitely going to repurchase this sponge because it really made my foundation really nice. I noticed though that it takes a much longer time to blend my foundation with this sponge as compared to my other sponges. I don't know why. From what I recall, the Real Techniques complexion sponge costs $10, and when online resellers sell it, of course, they're gonna sell it at a much higher price. So technically, this sponge is cheaper, and it's locally available. You can just go to like a random beauty bar and they have Happy Skin in all the beauty bars, so you can just ask for this sponge. Now when you go into the store, the sponge is not damp, so it's relatively smaller than what you're seeing right now. But it's the first time that I'm actually seeing a store or a makeup brand that's showing their sponge, because usually it's like sealed up and you can't touch it and you can't, you know, test it out. But this one you can, but you can only test it out in the store dry. Maybe you guys can just ask the sales lady to dampen the sponge, because it did get softer when it expanded, and maybe you guys want to see how big it goes. So I don't know, maybe you can just ask her. So it was really smart of Happy Skin to display the product, because again, I bought it because it was on display and I was able to touch it. I'm like, also when you are cleaning it, be very gentle, because sponges have the tendency to tear. This one, I accidentally tore the flat side. I don't know if it's seen on camera. Nope, it's not seen. Okay, so I don't know if it's seen on camera, but there's a chip here because I cleaned it too hard, but it's okay. Still look good, still does its job, and I love this. So those are pretty much my thoughts on the Happy Skin Air Touch Sponge. And before I conclude this video, I just want to say thank you for my 908 subscribers. I didn't expect to get 908 subscribers, so I'm really happy. If you guys watch my YouTube monthly video, I mentioned there that I just expected like 100 people to subscribe, and those 100 people are like my friends. I didn't really expect like people outside of, you know, my circle of friends or my family to actually subscribe to my channel. So I'm really happy that there are 908 people who enjoy makeup as much as me, and hopefully my videos help you guys decide on whether you should buy a product or not, because I love makeup. I love to test them out, and I know that there are some people who aren't willing to spend money without knowing how a product works, and I got you. So again, thank you. And that concludes this video. Thank you so much guys for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Peace out. Hey everyone, so for today I'm going to be doing another makeup haul.